This may be the silliest song that I could possibly start the stream with. This is so ridiculous. All right, here we go. It feels rude to talk over this song. Oh my god. All right, here we go. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, y'all. We're here. We're working. We're sick. I know I don't sound sick, but I've been sick since the weekend. I've been kind of just struggling through it at work, and it has not gone well. So we'll see. This might be a relatively short day. We'll see. We'll see how we feel. How's it going? Hey, Nix. Sapphire Starship. What's up, y'all? All right, now I changed the radio. All right, we're working on our big refactor. I did a few things on my own. Like I redid the textures and I redid the format file. And now I got to start actually changing stuff like in the code. I'm trying to do this in a way where like the current way we do it continues to work just for demonstration purposes and comparability. So it means recreating pretty much everything. And I'm kind of struggling to decide where I want to start. I really want like a fake, I really want that fake raycast style input where we cast a ray from the camera to the cursor and we see like what surface we hit. But obviously we need a backup if we don't hit anything. We'll see. Sapphire, not too bad today. A little tired. Trying to work on your project again after a couple weeks of not working on it. Still trying to figure something out for the outliner. Yeah, outlining in 3D is definitely a more interesting challenge for sure, especially if you want those inlines like you were saying. Nix, fun fact, in the mid 18th to the mid 20th century, there used to be horses working underground called pit ponies or mining horses. Wikipedia, there's a picture of one of them being lowered down into a mine shaft vertically. That's too funny. Kind of a horrible thing when you think about it, but kind of funny in isolation. Nix, you're not too well. You haven't slept a lot in the last 5 days or so. You're sick as well. You're constantly tired. You feel the need to work on your game. Yeah, I mean, don't push yourself, but I get it. I get it. I've been kind of rethinking the way I organize my systems. I kind of want to organize them into like system groups, but I'm trying to understand why I would care. A system group would be like a way of organizing systems to run together instead of just having systems that contain subsystems. I think it would be better to have something, some other structure for storing them. But it's not terribly meaningful if I just take the current structure and just add the word group to the end. I'm also trying to decide where I want to keep the data. If I want to add it to the group and restrict it so that like you can only access the data if you're within the group, if it's like group specific data. I don't know. I have to mess around with that. I'm like really, it's really unclear in my mind what I want to do here with some of this stuff. Sapphire. I also feel like I can't breathe through my nose. So if I sound weird, that's why. Sapphire, you have an idea that you probably won't work. That probably won't work, but you'll see about giving it a shot. You're thinking of getting a points distance from the camera and comparing the distance to other points around it, and if there's enough of a difference, drawing the outline. Yeah, that's like, but again, that's like a depth buffer. Like you should be able to do that with a depth buffer. I know that's basically what you're describing. But yeah, that's definitely the trick, I think. Hey, Nanigans, how's it going? Happy Wednesday. We're sick and tired. Not sure what we're doing today, but we're here. We're here to make it happen. For as long as we can. It may not be terribly long. Yeah, so I kind of want to take, right now we have the edit system, which handles a lot of this orchestration, and it has its own subsystems. I kind of want to put that all in a system group where the data's there and it's managed there. Although some of this stuff doesn't, like the tile system is not really part of the edit system. There's some problems here. There's some problems here. The tile system really needs to just be going on like a... It really just needs to be using a query. Instead of having this all be hard-coded. I mean, it's kind of okay because it's like we're using this very specific circumstance, which is like edit time. Yeah, the way I'm kind of thinking about it is having system groups, and there is shared data between the systems, but it's stored in the system group. And that will break down as soon as one system group needs to touch something from another system group, which I could totally imagine happening. So in a sense, I'm like, why bother with that at all? Because I know there's really no way to whatever system you use to like organize your... Use system was the wrong word, but whatever model you use to organize stuff like your systems and everything, eventually you're going to have a cross-cutting concern. You're going to have some kind of concern that awkwardly spans these divisions. So right now you just access stuff directly through the system. And I think for now, maybe I just keep doing that instead of messing around with system groups for now. Maybe I will do a system group. It's like, I think it's tied to state. So like the edit system group would run when we're in the edit state. In which case I could just call it like a state group or something. Yeah, I guess let's try that. Hanigans, you're doing good. You're swamped with work. Otherwise, you're doing well. No, don't worry about the late response. You're currently in the middle of your first large snowfall of the year. Ooh, nice. Yesterday, you barely had a dusting of snow on the ground. Now it's knee deep. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Fresh snow like that's pretty cool. So the question is, how does the view system know what to draw? I guess here's where the cross-cutting concerns come into play. Because like right now, the view system is the system that's like handling changes to the view. And the tile system is the thing that's determining like what tiles do we actually draw on the screen. And right now they're all chained together with the edit system, but that doesn't totally make sense because that's not really how it's going to work. And like we can fake it for now. But I kind of want to think about how I actually want to do this. Hey, Rihanna Journey, how's it going? How are you doing? Going okay. Lots of small but easy issues to deal with at work so far today. And your one meeting was canceled? Ooh, nice. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, I'm sick. I've been sick since the weekend, and I really shouldn't stream today, but I said I would, so we're going to do it at least for a little bit. Probably on the shorter side. I might not stream tomorrow. We'll see how I feel. As soon as I went live, I was like, I shouldn't have done this. I could feel it. I could feel it in my bones. It was like I shouldn't have gone live. I should have just canceled. But we're going to hang out. We'll hang out and we'll try to get some stuff done. At least for a little while. You can always just stop. Not true. Not true. Should have a silent stream. Yeah, part of the problem is like, I actually don't know. I'm having a whole the shape of the problem doesn't start anywhere situation where I'm not quite sure how I want to come at this refactor. I've got the basic stuff sorted out. Like I rebuilt the tileset atlas sources and all that. But I need to actually build up a little parallel structure here in the code so that we can actually run the new thing and the old thing. So I'm thinking about how I actually want to structure that. I kind of want to do like what Unity does, which is they have system groups which run together. They're like systems that are grouped together and that run, and you can register those systems into those groups. You know what? We could probably have... You could probably have a system that runs in multiple system groups. So I think the system group is going to be based on the state. So like if we're in an edit state, the edit system group will run. But, or when we're in a play state, maybe the play system group would run. But each group might actually have some of the same systems in it. They might just run on a slightly different context or different timing. Ooh, that could work. That could work. Hey, Arneo. Considering everyone's sick, you thought you'd come in with a hydrate. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm sick too. We're going to try to get some stuff done. Yeah, this will probably be a pretty chill stream. So I think we're going to recreate this edit system inside this group. I think will be our first step. In which case we don't actually need this view system group yet because we're only worried about the edit state. Does that mean work on the ECS today? Not quite. Not quite. Close. We're creating like a parallel structure of systems so that we can run this new process and still have the old process kind of in place. Just for demonstration, just so I can hit, you know, play and actually look at what we got so far. Arneo, you're not sick, but you're still not going to do any work today? That's nice. Yeah, I've just been working through my sickness here. I got sick over the weekend and I was like, we're too busy to be sick. Like, there's too much to do at work for me to be sick. So I've just been working through it, but I think I've reached the end of the road on that. I think I need a sick day like tomorrow or something. So I might not end up streaming tomorrow if I do take a sick day. But we're here today. We're chilling. I've been thinking more of the consequences of our new block organization that we want to do, and it's really neat. There's a lot of challenges for sure, but I'm very excited for it. But yeah, I want to keep this stuff running for as long as possible, which is hard to do, but I wanna try. Otherwise, I'll break it, and then we won't be able to run the game for like weeks, and that's a problem. Y'all are crazy with your monsters and your Red Bulls and stuff. I think I'm gonna make a tea in a little bit. Is the most I'm gonna do. I don't know if I've ever had an energy drink either. Now that I think about it, Arneo. I used to work in coffee shops a lot, and people would come in to work Like people would come in to start their shift and they'd have like an energy drink, and I'd be like, "We have free coffee and tea. What are you doing?" And they're like, "I don't know." They're like, "I like my energy drink more." And I'm like, "Okay. Fair enough." All right, we'll keep these. We need these. We'll put these in the group. I wonder if system should know about its group. Like if you should know about its caller. Because that's the thing I'm thinking about. Well, we're being kind of weird about this. I want the auto tiler to auto tile, obviously. It needs to run all the time. But is it going to just pull the entity out of the system somewhere? Or should it query? It should, in theory, the tile system should just be querying things. I need a state manager that's like orchestrating these system calls. I don't know if you have Aldi. Yeah, there are Aldis. There are Aldis out here. They're rare, but we have some. They have a Red Bull knockoff for $1 a can. Wow. You always stock up on it. Your life is hell without it. That's wild. Arnie, you tried a Gatorade like over 10 years ago. Gatorade is not an energy drink. Let's be very clear. That's good for you though. That stuff's all this stuff is terrible for you. Nix, it's so crazy to you that there are like grown-ups who never had an energy drink before. It's so popular. You also know someone who's in their 30s who's never had coffee, energy drinks, alcohol, cigarettes. It's like, where do you grow up? A rock farm? Yeah, I don't know. Part of life is realizing that people have very different experiences. What's normal for you is very strange. Hey, Yurga, how's it going? Welcome in. I've been following along your little post jam dev. It's looking good. I'm sick. I probably shouldn't be streaming. I'm like, my head is just like a complete fog. But I said I was going to stream today, so I'm doing it. And we're trying to work on some stuff. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know how productive we're going to be today. But how are you doing? Your whole life changed for the better once you realize that people have different lived experiences from you. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy that people would have different experiences? Yeah, I don't know. I guess I need to think more clearly about how I want to orchestrate this. So we have our game node. Game node is the great trigger of everything. It's really the one that does everything. It runs the main task in the main system. Yeah, we have a system list, which is kind of why I want to just run. Maybe the game, maybe the game node is the state manager. I don't know. Maybe it can pass. I don't know. Maybe the main system. Maybe there's a state system. Because we need to run these different system groups depending on what state we're in. But the problem is we operate on shared data, and the most straightforward thing is to just query the entities that have the data we want. And that's really what I should do, but I'm using a double buffer for one of them. So if I just query them, we don't really get quite the behavior we want. We need to like actually specify. We need to specify a little more precisely what we're trying to work with here. Notice that I'm just terrible at doing this whole ECS thing. Yes. They do exist over here in America, Nix. Mostly in Utah. Yurga, your jam game upgrade also is going slow. December is sick when it comes to how much work they give. Yeah, no, I'm sick, and also I feel that there's a lot of work. The end of the year is crazy for us at work too. Too little sun, yeah. Yeah, please come back. We're here a lot. I appreciate you checking in. Good luck. Good luck on the post jam. I love your game. That turned out so well. I think you should have won, honestly. I think if anyone should have won, should have been you. Chromatopsia was so good. So all I really do right now is we just run the main task. We start a task factory, little task here. We start a task. We run this. Then we run this. So I guess I'm doing the state manipulation here. And then the edit system is running everything else. So I kind of want to insert, if the game input.views.count is whatever, if we should run this, we say game.viewSystemGroup, and the viewSystem group has like multiple systems that run to like manipulate the view before we go on to the next step. And then here we can say like, you know, if we're in the edit state, then we'll run the edit system group. And we might run the play system group instead. And the play system group might have some of the same systems in it as the edit system group, but they run under a different context in that case, and maybe a different execution order and stuff. So yeah, maybe this is the way. I don't know. The view system really doesn't do very much though at the moment, so maybe we can just leave it the way it is for now. It's weird how we do this here. Is it because we're dequeuing the input? Oh, right. We have to transform the argument. Yurga's game was Chromatopsia. I'm probably pronouncing it wrong. Let me see if I can find it. Why can't I find it? I think that was what it's called. Oh, Achromatopsia, right. It was this one. It's the crazy, the color vision one. Really good. I'll drop the link. Yeah, this game was great. I really enjoyed this. Yeah, I guess I need to really decide how I want to orchestrate some of this stuff. I mean, we can kind of just keep lazily doing it the way that we're doing it, but I feel like that's gonna hurt us later. I don't think my system diagrams help me with any of this. This is like the classic system diagram here. So the way I imagined this was that the input handler would pass things to the game manager. Excuse me. The game manager would pass things to the state manager. The state manager would go through, look at what states we're in. The state manager has kind of been replaced by the main system, which routes based on state. And it routes us to different system groups. Because, like, editing the game versus, like, playing it live versus, like, having the game playing, but you paused it, so you're issuing commands. These are all, like, very different things and would require slightly different interpretations. I think grouping those into system. I think grouping that together so that I can run similar systems in different contexts is pretty neat. I'm just looking at this old architecture just to make sure I'm kind of on track with what I originally envisioned. And we'll eventually need some kind of scene manager that... Well, that's kind of being handled by this guy, actually. Yeah, I don't know. Oop. Arm the photon torpedoes. Yep, here we go. Blast them. Got him.
He's dead, Jim.
Sorry for the spam bot in the Discord this morning, too. I caught him as quick as I could. That's super annoying. I don't know what to do about those. Well timed. That was well timed. I actually think we're not going to do most of this stuff for now, this view system stuff. Yeah, okay. All right, I think I know what I want to do. I want to build this system group, and this is going to be the route that all the systems get run when we're in the edit game state. That's how I'm going to do this. And we'll just run this. We'll probably pause on this. Well, we need to keep running this for other reasons. We need to keep running this for when I do like this. Yeah, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to handle my goal of like managing to keep both versions of this running at the same time. I appreciate the friendly competition over it. Yeah, okay. I think we can make this work. All right, who am I going to have run these sync functions? I guess this data belongs to the group. That's funny. I like that. I like this idea. We're all crew members on this starship. That's fun. So here's all the sync stuff. So we declare all of the entity stuff. I am having an awkward time deciding where these entities get declared and owned. I don't love having it be on the system. Having it be in the system group is not great either. And we need 2 of these because we've got a preview block and a settled block. So we have like, but they're not distinguishable from each other. So if you use a query, how do you tell the system which one of these we want to process? That's the conundrum here. You know, we could do something else that I feel like I might need, which is how to implement a tagging system in the entity component system. I want to implement tags because tags would be pretty useful for something like this. We'd have to define all our tags, but yeah, like how do I tell the systems, okay, draw this entity, you know, when we're in edit mode, but draw this entity when we're in play mode. How do I do that with a query? I would have to tag the entity with like the mode, with like the state in which you process it. So we could, that's an interesting thing. We could tag entities with the state under which they get processed. That would be helpful for cases where you have entities that are in that have such a composition where you can't make that distinction. The problem with that, though, is you'd still process all of them. You would just early out based on the tag, probably. Because you can't actually, you wouldn't store anything based on its tag. I have all these heady, like, systems architecture questions to answer, and I am, like, not in the headspace to be able to do it. I think you'd be a great science officer, Rhiannon. And clearly Sapphire has the quick trigger, the trigger fingers necessary to be a weapons officer, yeah. Arneo, I'd want you down in the sonar. You'd be our sonar guy. You'd be the guy. You'd be the radar and sonar. That's you seem to know all about that stuff. Yeah, what do I want to do here? Man, this is a choice. I know this stream is like gonna be very unproductive. But I didn't want to leave everyone hanging. Y'all are too funny. So when are you adding the Twitch regular names into the character roster nicknames in the game? Oh, eventually we're gonna definitely have like a Twitch add-on that lets you pull like Twitch chat names and like insert them into the game. That's definitely something we're gonna do down the line. I would very much like to do a Twitch add-on. Like that, an extension. Rhiannon, have any of you played any spaceship bridge simulators like Artemis? You haven't, but you think it would be fun? Yeah, I haven't either. It would probably be pretty fun. Oh, man. Yeah, I can't think of a good way to do this, so we're just going to do it the easy way, which is the way that we're currently already doing it. Man, I don't know. I'm not sold on this whole doing it through this system group thing. It's okay for now because we're just building in this sandbox, but I'm trying to think about how that'll work when you actually have ships that are actually in their like 9 box and you want to render them and you want to work on them. How are we going to do that? I guess I don't need to get ahead of myself. I don't need to like worry about that right now. I might as well just keep doing it the way we're doing it. You just checked out Artemis. It looks really cool. Yeah, it does. It does look really cool. You'd love to, but haven't. You'd like the idea of commanding a ship via giving orders to the various officers? Yeah, I think it's cool. I think it's really cool. Nanigans, your apologies for not really engaging with the stream. No worries, dude. Swamped with work as things are winding down for the end of the year. I'm barely engaging with the stream. I have quite a hazy fog. I'm trying to think through these problems and I'm not really getting anywhere. So I should probably just punt on a lot of this stuff and not worry about it. No worries. I appreciate you hanging out. This does not need to be a primary screen, you know, experience. I don't need everyone. I don't need your full attention. This is just supposed to be, you know, a chill place to hang out and co-work. So if I'm able to get out of the way, that's great. Part of it is this access thing I'm thinking of, which kind of conflicts with this idea that a system could be called by different groups. I think the main system needs to orchestrate this, and we don't actually want different groups handling this, but maybe I'm wrong. Who uses this double buffer system here? Let's see if we can. What does the tile system do with the subtle blocks? Oh, it's a room bounds thing. We could isolate access a little more. We could maybe do something here. Someone raised some interesting questions. I was talking to someone about what we're trying to do here, which we're about the decomposing the block into its component parts. And someone made a good point where they're like, well, the thing about this old way of doing it, where you had the deck piece and then you had this empty space above that might be a wall or a door or a floor or whatever, you had discrete decks. Like, you always knew where the deck was because you had this empty space, then floor plate, then empty space, then floor plate. And you had like a very explicit deck layout. But now, if we break it down into this smaller component parts, we lose that. So there isn't this clean deck layout of we're on this deck or we're on this deck. It's a lot more implied, which is pretty neat. It definitely lets you do more interesting shapes by reducing the block down to like its smallest possible size. But yeah, it means that it's all compartment based and there really isn't the concept of a deck, quote unquote. Because you might have like a room that's like slightly offset from another room that like overlaps, or like it might be uneven. Like it might be like cargo bay engineering stuff. Like it might not be so clean. And that's really interesting. And I don't think I've fully thought out the consequences of that yet. It would definitely have more of like a organic structure to it. I have to think about that too. We have the non-overlapping blocks setup done. I made all the assets for this, so we'll have our non-overlapping blocks now, which will be good. So when Unity does system groups, they think of system groups as like stages of the frame. Like you might run the transform system and then the physics system and then the rendering system. Or more groups, more like. Nix, you would be like the like ship's AI, like hologram. That's funny. You can't think of an episode where the ship computer actually acts like a person. There is that episode where the ship's computer gains like sentience, which is pretty wild. Do I know which one that is? It's in the last season. It's in season 7. It's one of the last episodes. I think it's called Emergence. It's from TNG. My remastered Blu-ray of TNG is coming in tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm gonna watch some of that. I've been watching it on streaming and the quality has been not good. Be excited to watch the full proper Blu-ray remaster. Yeah, okay. Oh, you know what we could do that doesn't require any thought that I didn't do yet? We can make the rest of our tileset atlases, or I made the sources, but I haven't actually built the atlases. Let's do that, because my brain is not working today. I keep trying to make architectural decisions, and I'm just struggling. I want to rename some of this stuff, so I don't want to call this a shape. I wanted to call it a... space. Sick day in TNG? Yeah. We'll see. It kind of depends on when this thing arrives, but... Oh, wait. It's being delivered today. Yeah, this might happen. Sick day with TNG sounds really good. Normally when I get sick, I'm like totally fine. Then like absolutely sick, and then I like kind of chill out. Like it spikes for me when I'm sick, it spikes early and then it falls off super quick. This sickness that I've got right now is like the opposite. It's like ramping up super slowly. Like I feel more sick each day. Very strange. Very unusual for me. Nix, you say you resemble Data with the dead sunken eyes and tired look. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, okay. So I made our block space, which has 64 slices because that's the number of layers that we're going to have now. Now that the blocks are super thin, we're going to have 64. It's going to be a 64 by 64 by 64 grid. Oh, that's something else I could make that I think I have an idea of. I have an idea for a bit mask for the block volume. Or block space, as I'm calling it. I have an idea for how to index into those. With a bit mask. That'll be really neat. But yeah, let's make the... What's really cool is we do have 64 slices. So there's 64 vertical layers. And each of those layers is 64 by 64, you know, tile map layer. And so that might sound like a lot, but what's really neat is that each of these layers only has 3 tile map layers to it. So before a ship would be... Before a ship had 10 tile map layers to it, because it had the deck plate, it had 3 pieces for the deck plate, it had 3 layers for the lower bulk, 3 layers for the upper bulk, 1 layer for the door proxies. So it had 10 layers. 10 layers, and we allowed for 8 levels. 10 layers per level, 8 levels, so we had 80 tile map layers. Now we're gonna have, you know, 192 because we're gonna have 64 by 3. So there's gonna be about just under 200 tile map layers to render a ship, which seems inefficient, but I think it's gonna be fine. So we can actually combine them together. We can actually use just one set of tile map layers to render multiple spaces if we use offsets. But yeah, let's just make the tile set atlas sources. So I made one. I made the hull typeface X. So this is the one just for the X face. And I got the default. We have the default, which is ID 0. So this is gonna be like the fallback if it like can't find a source ID that it wants to use. It'll fall back to this. I got rid of the coloration for this one. It's just one set of colors now. Thought it was fine. We have the overlay, the transparent overlay, and then we have the outer, middle, and inner hulls. I think I reversed the order of these, which I need to keep in mind. And now I just need to build the others. Which I guess we just need 2. We just need 2 others. We need the Y and the Z. This is so much simpler than what we had before. Pretty neat. Oh, and yeah, the other thing we could do is that volume, that bit mask thing I talked about. Maybe we'll do that too. While we're kind of just hanging out, I wanted to mention that my work has announced like a return to office mandate, an RTO mandate. It's not for like late next year, but it's gonna happen, and it will probably require some changes to the schedule, to the streaming schedule. So stuff will happen, things change, nothing lasts forever, but we'll keep going, we'll keep doing it. Yeah, I know. I agree, Rhiannon. They're going to be quote-unquote starting us with 3 days in office, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And so it'll be all right. It might mean we change schedule to like, we might be streaming Friday to Monday or something like that. Let's be super clear. They said that this is going to be in Q4 of next year. So we have almost a year to figure something out. So don't worry. I was pretty salty when I found out yesterday. They kind of surprised us with it, but it's far enough away that I think I'll be able to figure something out. But yeah, we might end up doing like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday streams or something, and then I just don't stream on the days that I'm in office. We'll see. We'll have to see. It's a little sad. But that's life. This is the time when companies feel comfortable doing this sort of thing because the job market's so bad and the economy is kind of rough. This is the time when they feel like they have a free hand to do things like this. Because I'm not going to quit my job. I try to find another job in this economy. Crazy. So yeah, we're going to be in a rough spot for a bit. But again, it's not till late next year, so... You could finish the game before it goes into effect? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that sounds good. That's funny. Let's just knock that out. Let's just knock the game out in the next, like, few months. Why can't I configure this? I guess I'll just copy this and reset it. Delete, 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 delete. Sapphire, you're definitely gonna have to look into this empty epsilon game, see if we'll be able to figure it out. It looks like it could be fun. You can have a GM and custom scenarios. You'd be tempted to craft some scenarios to play yourself. It looks like it might have LAN multiplayer. Yeah, that seems cool. Open source bridge space simulator thing. That's nice. Wait, what's going on? You were reading Wikipedia? That's funny. Hamachi? I haven't heard Hamachi in so long, Nix. That's crazy. People still use that? Oh, yeah. How did I decide I wanted this to work? Did I want the tile to extend above or below? So there's the flat plane that is the tile map layer. Do I want the 3D block to sit above it or to sit below it? I'm actually not sure. Machi was what you used back when you first went to college. Keep having LAN parties, the people you used to game with back in high school. Yeah, no, I did too. That was the way. Before there was a lot. Before it was like the online connectivity was like ubiquitous. That's how you kept the LAN parties alive. Is everyone kind of like went off to different places. Yeah, that's wild. That's so wild. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about this placement thing as far as like where I want the block placement to be. All right, we'll mess around with it for a little bit here. I see good arguments for both. Oops. All right. So if we were to start just kind of dropping, we're just start dropping tiles here. Let's drop them. So like this. So yeah, do we want the tile to sit below this point or above it? It's really a good question. I think below is correct. It's still a problem either way from like a selection standpoint. It's a little bit of a problem because it means you can only select the floor of something. Kind of weird, this gap. I still don't feel super comfortable about this gap here. But I think I can live with it. Practically, it shouldn't matter. But yeah, so if we do it like this, then when you're like mousing around, you'll see if you're here, if you're within this space, you'll have selected this tile. But if you're like trying to select these walls, it's not going to work. It'll look at the tile in front, which is why we need our like fake raycast implementation so that you can select a block by its wall and not just its floor piece. But that said, it might be totally fine because each piece is so small. It might still be, it might still make sense how you would do that, how you would select it by just the floor piece. I don't know. We'll try it. All right, okay, we did that. So I want to build something kind of based off of the bit field 64. I want to build like a bit masked volume that we can use. I guess it's a kind of buffer. It's like a bit field 3D. Oh, I need to actually use that though. Is the buffer 3D sufficient by itself? Oh no, because this has a row of these things. Oh, so this would technically be a 2D because the row would be the bit field. So the bit field would be the row, and then you would collect them all together to make the volume by kind of making an area of that. Okay. So that's more of a 2D deal. It's a little awkward that it would be a buffer 2D, but I guess we might as well make one, huh? Because the field would be just the one row, and that would be the 64. And then what you would do is you'd make a column of that or whatever, and then you would extend that into 3 dimensions. So indexing into that is going to be a little awkward, but it's okay. Okay, so let's make a buffer 2D. Let's pick small little tasks to do. Cuz I'm not up for the big stuff right now. Is it easy to duplicate this? I guess not. Alright, this should be easy. This is mostly just copying stuff. I wonder where the difference is. Oh, so you create an AABB. I see, I see. So we don't actually need I do need like an area though. Should that just be like a vector too? Or do I actually want kind of my own like rect? I really don't like rect in Godot. The rect struct that always causes me trouble. So I kind of don't really want to implement my own, but let's worry about that in a second. What we can do is we can say something like public vector2i area. I don't know. How would I want to do this? How would I want to do a 2D version of this? So this has a min and a max. Alright, let's mess around. Why not? Make a rect. I think this is going to be bad, but we're going to do it anyway. I can at least wrap my head around what we're doing here. Oh, what? I never wrote one of these. Never wrote a max function. Between this and the other. Oh, this and the IC. I want a static one. Let's go up to where everything is static here. Okay. Expanding our vector I class here. I don't have a parse either. Jesus. think it's kind of stupid that the way I do this is I only ever expand my functionality here when I actually need it. So I'm constantly being like, oh, I have this function in a vector 3, but not a vector 2. That's weird. I have to go in and add it back here. Add it back. Add it. Just at all. Why is this exactly like this? Split this, this, this. Oh, no, that's right. That's right. And again, it makes the OCD happy to plug in every possible functionality you would want, but it saves wasting many development hours on unused functionality when you only build what you need as you need it. No, that's correct. That's very correct. It just leads to so many distractions. But that's good. That's what I'm looking for today. I'm looking for these like really easy wins here. All right, I think we can go back to what we were doing, which was making some kind of rect area thing. I'm just going to copy the rest of this over and fix it. Well, that's a lot, isn't it? This is crazy. All right, let's just do it. Who cares? All right, way to go, autocomplete. Actually got a win there. And again, you usually have a utils file that you toss one-off functions into until you eventually start to get enough of them that make enough sense together to toss into their own whatever lib file. That said, your math library for any given project, an example, is only going to contain a handful of functions you need that aren't part of the standard library of the language you're working in. Yeah, I wanted these I wanted these integral vectors and stuff, and I'm building things out of them, so I ended up wanting something like this. But yeah, I generally agree with you. Hey, Nix. Blender just hung up on you. I don't think you saved your project for at least an hour either. Oh my god. That's horrible.
He's dead, Jim.
Yeah, truly. Alright, how does this resize work? Resize. Oh, this is clamp. Clamp AABB new clamp dot minimum clamp this. AABB dot maximum clamp this. Okay. It doesn't crash to the desktop yet. Hey, Ant. How's it going? Why doesn't this work yet? Oh, vector 3, vector 2i clamp.
Logic was impeccable, Captain.
For a few days, feeling better now. That's good. That's good. It's alive? Nice. Okay, so is there a clamp that takes an AABB here? Or is there a 3D one that does? I bet there is. Yeah, okay. All right. Add this to the vector too. Oh yeah, make some tea next. That sounds great. I'm gonna make some tea after this stream. Excited. I increase it by a size, should it be by half the size? I don't know. Man, there's a lot of functionality in here. I don't think I need to do any of the view stuff. Just through the toString. I don't know why it's upset with this quality members thing. No, wait, how do I do this for just two vectors, vector 2? X is just the remainder and Y is the... Yeah, I'm done. Shenanigans. You're pretty sure Blender has an ongoing recovery save file that it saves to every few minutes by default? Ooh, that's good to know. Why isn't this working? Missing references? Okay. That sucks. Billy's no fun. Hey. Don't let him get to you. What's happening this stream? I'm like sick. I shouldn't be streaming, but I said I was going to. So I am, and my brain is just not working. So we tried doing some more serious work earlier, and it did not go well. So I'm just kind of messing around at this point. Internal chords plus X. Internal chords. Internal chords plus X times. That's it. Super simple. How are you doing? Well, you already told me how you're doing. Never mind. Sorry, it's instinct. Yeah, we're probably just doing a short stream today. Probably skipping the stream tomorrow. I've been sick. And I worked through it. So like I've been sick since the weekend, and I just worked through it the last few days because we're too busy at work for me to be sick. And I'm running at the end. I'm running to the end of my I need the overlaps function before I can go back and do this one. You're sick of people being sick? Yeah. Yeah, me too. There's a song I like that goes something like, I'm tired of waking up tired. I feel that. So yeah, we're just picking some low-hanging fruit here today. We're just doing the easy stuff. Autocomplete is actually kind of helping me a little. Just shocking. You're healthy as a horse with broken hooves and a fever. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. So yeah, we're writing little utility helper stuff right now. We're expanding some functionality around. We're just doing the easy stuff. Probably won't go for much longer. I'll try to finish this up. And yeah, probably gonna skip tomorrow. I feel that kind of weird lightheaded. Makes it really hard to think. Which I've been sick before, but it was different. I have one of these sicknesses that feels like it's evolving. They're adapting. There's a better way to do overlapping than this, I'm realizing. I only really need to check. I don't actually need to check the coordinates. I need to just check the permutations of the minimum and the maximum against each other. This is like very inefficient. I'll work on that at some point. That's kind of one of the nice reasons to go back through this stuff. You realize that you were dumb and you could be less dumb in the future. You don't want to be smart though? Yeah, me either. Yeah, up here we've had we just had a cold snap. And I think that causes a lot of people to get sick very quickly. I know there's some other stuff traveling around. I don't know much about that. What is this function even doing here? Does this function even work? What's happening here? What is the shrink function? Minimum plus amount, center floor plus minimum, maximum minus amount, center ceiling plus minimum. Fascinating. That doesn't make a ton of sense, but I'm not going to dig into that right now. We just need the to list and the to string, and then we're good. Problem for a different Dave, exactly. I don't need this stuff at the end here. View relative, view absolute. Eventually, maybe. Right now, no. Okay, so we've expanded. We got our rect, which behaves like a flattened AABB. We don't use it for anything yet, but we will. We're going to use it for his bit field volume that I have in mind. Because the bit field is going to represent one row. And then we'll use this. We'll use a rect. We'll also make a buffer read write 2D. Yeah, that'll be good. Okay. Yeah. That was good. When your brain is messed up and you're too foggy to get the big picture, just zoom in on something. Work on something small. Find something small to work on. It's good. It works for me. But yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised so many people are hanging out over on the YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Appreciate everyone hanging out today. Yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be a stream tomorrow. I'm feeling pretty weird. We'll see. If there is, I will be here. Probably gonna take a sick day tomorrow. Maybe I'll just end up watching Star Trek on the couch and falling asleep. Who knows? But yeah, today was nice. It was nice seeing everybody. I didn't want to miss it. Yeah. But thank you all so much for watching. Nix, you usually just work piece by piece. You put on some calming music, vertex by vertex. It's very therapeutic for you. Yeah. Yeah, you can't always do that. Sometimes you got to take the big view, but it's really nice, especially when you're feeling down or sick or otherwise inhibited. Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah, sorry for the short stream. Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.
Maximum warp.